Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, everybody, from Dr. C. I hope everybody's enjoying opening their presents and enjoying their wonderful Christmas breakfasts or brunch or whatever. So today on the agenda, we've got a few things. We've got my review and quote-unquote rant on finals, my first ever review on Harry D. Jacobs High School, self-defense, my opinion, school's view on it and when it should be used, and how schools protect star athletes and nobody else. But before I begin, I just want to mention that I'm holding a little contest. Anybody who can get me 10K subscribers, that's 10,000 for everyone who don't know what 10K means, if anyone can get me 10K subscribers, there will be a special gift for them, and that could be anything. So, yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that, and just been good news. But also before I begin on everything, I just want to say this. I know a lot of people like what I do, and I know a lot of people congratulate me for it, but I guess some people think that I'm a snitch, or a rat, or a narc, or whatever. And for all those people out there listening who think that of me, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm not. Because on the last day of finals, I was threatened. I was threatened because the person said this. They said that I got their friends in trouble because they made wrong choices, and allegedly this person said that I'm the one that ratted them out, even though I haven't spoken to this person in a very long time, and I would never rat out anybody. I wouldn't be a snitch to anybody. And this person said that this was my warning as a threat to me. And so now basically I'm being threatened, and what else is new? Let's see, I've been bullied and I've been threatened. I can't wait to see what's next for when I come back to Harry D. Jacobs High School. A little more later on that. But, now I'm now I don't know what to do, because I can't go to the school. My dad and I are stuck because we can't do nothing. Nobody will listen to me. Nobody believes me, for God's sakes. And I feel like I can't get help. And sooner or later someone's going to come out to get me, and that's not going to be good. So, thanks for the threat. I really enjoyed it. Now hey, I'm still going to keep making these podcasts, and I'm still going to keep going on with my website. I'm never going to stop. And leave it down in the comments on what you think, because I made a slideshow a long while back on vaping and e-cigarettes. I want your guys' opinion if I should just, for the next Monday, which I think is I don't know, whatever next Monday is, if I should sit there and read it. I want to know your guys' opinion on that. Thanks. But, hey, that's when, and one of my friends tells me, hey, at least I told my friend, hey, I was being threatened, and he said, hey, now that means that you're changing, that people don't like you, I'm like, what? What? Because now I'm being threatened that it changes my views? I'm like, oh, but, I can't go to the school because I tried to talk to them about me being bullied, and, that was a joke because the dean took took the kid's opinion over mine, so now he let the bully go free, and if I try and say anything about this, then they're not going to do anything either. It was ridiculous. I sat there and I felt, my God. I stood there and he said that he's not going to do anything. He said that he asked if I wanted to talk to the person that jumped on my back and put his hand on my neck. And I said, no, I don't want to. Because that's stupid. You don't talk to a person who does that. And I'm just saying this. You must have no fucking brain cells if you even do that to somebody. If you put your hand or if you jump on somebody like that, you must have no brain cells whatsoever if you do that. Because everybody and their grandmother, like I was on Instagram just a few hours ago, and I saw this thing, and it said, feminist woman freaks out over guy saying hello. And this woman stopped in the middle of the road, got out of her car, and started screeching and yelling and bitching and moaning to this guy who just said hello. The guy just said hello. And that shows me how stupid people can be. Where they can get offended by someone, by a guy, where women can get offended by a guy, no mind you, by saying hello. Is that what we've become? To where we can let people walk all over us? No, it's, that's the world we become, to where people can make all kinds of claims and make all this kind of shit, while the people who are actually getting hurt, and while the people who are actually having harm, for the people that have had harm done to them, have been pushed away by all the stupid nonsense that these people want to make. Let's see, Trump, the one newscaster, some actors, all these guys, mind you, all these guys have been, and there's probably many more instances of this, have been alleged for sexual assault. Trump got sexual assault after he became president. This guy this guy had cases after him after a picture was leaked onto the internet. That shows me how look, if you are listening to this and you've had something, if that has happened to you, then I'm sorry that happened to you, and I hope the person that did that to you gets the shit beat out of him, or gets put into prison or something horrible happened to him, because that shouldn't be right, because no one should have to suffer that kind of injustice. But for these women to make for some women, I'm not saying all, for these women to make false accusations, that's like this woman long time ago who faked having cancer. This woman shaved her head, said she had cancer, and she lied about it to everybody. And everybody gave her money, and everybody got upset. And when I heard that on the news, it hit me most of all. Because my grandmother had it, and my mother had it, and she died from it. And at age 14, losing your mother is the most sad, is the worst horrible thing that could happen to you. I bet you guys are sitting there wondering, people who know me, and people who have seen me, and people who know that my attitude, people must be wondering, gee, how could he have this upbeat, happy attitude after something traumatic like that? I don't know how. I don't know how I can be happy. I just don't. And for someone to fake, and for someone to say that they have cancer when they don't, and all they did was just shave their head, boo on you. Boo on you, and boo on all the other people that are lying and cheating the system. Boo on all of you who lie and cheat. Boo on all of you who do the wrong thing. Boo on all of you who make stupid decisions. And I know that some people are going to say, well, we're only human. Yes, I know. Yes, I understand that we as humans make stupid decisions from time to time. But when people know for a fact that they are not allowed to do something, and they know this is common sense, and they still do it, I just have to sit there, I just have to look at that and say to myself, why? Why do people think that they have the darn right to get away with this shit? And then when someone tries to when someone tries to say something or someone tries to speak up, they get called a snitch or they get called a rat, even though they're only trying to protect themselves and their friends and the people who don't want to be suckered into that bullshit. This has been, to me, something that I've thought about and for a very long time. It just hurts. You know, my mother's probably rolling in her grave right now after all the shit that she's witnessed, that she's seen me go through, after all the people who gave up on me, after these administration that doesn't believe me when I got bullied, or that I can't do anything when someone threatens me. She must be rolling in her grave and crying. How I can't trust anybody anymore. How I can't trust my friends closest to me. Because I don't know if they're going to come back on Christmas or after Christmas break and come at me with a fucking switchblade. Because, I mean, God forbid. God forbid if you guys can, if some kids can get away with doing all kinds of shit in school, what's to stop someone from bringing in a weapon? What's to stop someone from bringing in something even worse? What's to stop anybody from doing it? And I just hope that you take this message with what you take it with. Don't make stupid decisions in life. Because when you start making stupid decisions, you're going to wreck your life, you're going to upset your family, and you're going to upset the ones that love you and try to care for you the most. And I just have to say this. If you don't give a shit about going to school, if you don't give a shit about having a decent education, if you don't give a shit about having a decent education and just want to sit there and fuck with these teachers, then shame on you. If you're the type of person that dicks around in class and causes a disturbance for everybody, then shame on you. I'm wanting to learn. I want to get a decent education. My mother fought for a decent education, and she damn well died trying. But she was overcome by the stupidity at my old elementary school and at my old school. Because the teachers at my old school were a little more worried about the kids fucking around in class. And they weren't worried about me. And there's some teachers here that would rather take all day and explain to these kids how they fucked up royally. And that takes away from my learning time. And it takes this rule book that these teachers have to follow, it doesn't do jack shit. Because these kids are still getting... How are these kids still getting away with it if you think your system is tried and true? How are these kids allowed to do this? And then they come back with, well, it's my responsibility. It comes back to it's the good kids' responsibility to tell these teachers that the bad ones are doing. No, it shouldn't be my responsibility. It should be your goddamn responsibility. That's why you're getting paid. That's why you get to drive in the Lexus and the Mercedes and get to fucking eat your Chipotle while I'm sitting there eating a fucking corn dog that was probably microwaved. It's your job to catch the bad students, not mine. You know, it pains me to say that. To go and say that, and I can't say that to these deans. Because if I step out of line, they have the right to suspend me, or they have the right to expel me. Because that's what they're paid for. If they don't like a student, if they think a student's not going by their rules, then they have the legal right to kick them out. And no one can do jack shit to save them. Because that's what almost happened to me. I was called insubordinate by the adults I trusted. I had to sign a contract to make sure that I don't stand up for myself again. That I have to sit and fill out a form while someone's beating the shit out of somebody and no one's saving them. That's why there's a lot of bullying going on in the world. Because people just take it and go idly by. It's like, and this is a good one for all you history buffs. It's like when, back in the times of slavery, when the North, it was like the South was getting away with it, and the North was like, I mean, it is a bad thing, but we're getting all this free goods. We're getting all this good stuff. We're getting the cotton. We're getting the cotton sweatshirts. I don't know what to do. And then Abraham Lincoln shows up, and he's like, look, guys, we've got to start stepping up. This is wrong, and you know it. I tried to be Abe Lincoln, and these administrators were John Wilkes Booth. That's how that was. And this actually relates to a topic, how schools protect star athletes and nobody else. I've seen this before. Because if you're a star athlete, and if you make the football team, or if you make the track, these football players, or these hockey, maybe it's like these kids that do all these sports and things. They get these kids that go way overboard in gym class when they're playing the games. And I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about. It's these kids that play around too much, and they act big and they act tough, and they are the ones that drink the protein shakes, and they're the ones that do the weightlifting, and they're the ones that pay the fucking $50 surplus charge to go over to Planet Fitness or workout places. It's the kids that play around too much, and it's the kids that don't give a shit. Like, there was this, I kept getting dirty looks every time I walked around the track, and I kept getting dirty looks from these two kids, one of which was in full gym uniform, but was sitting. I kept getting dirty looks from these two motherfuckers, and I thought to myself, hey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. What are you doing? And there was nothing wrong. And for this is what I think should be done in gym class. If you have a no dress, it shouldn't be you go down to the library and sit and do all this paperwork. You need to walk around the track, and you need to get like a certain amount. You walk around the track and you keep getting laps, and the guy marks your paper until the end of class. And however many laps, and if you actually did like a decent amount, like if you actually got laps, then that's what you should be graded in, not paperwork that you can easily look up online. It's kind of like saying, oh, just because he gets a no dress doesn't mean that he has to work out. And it doesn't scare these kids, like, oh, if you get this amount of no dresses, then you'll get in trouble. It doesn't scare these kids. It just doesn't scare them. And that's appalling that the punishments don't work. It's because everybody's gone too soft, and it's because everybody's starting to give less of a shit anymore. It's because everybody's now worried about fucking Donald J. Trump having a sexual harassment suit against him, or some big shot in Congress having a lawsuit against him. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Nobody should be making these false accusations. And for these people at the FCC, the one lady, I forgot her name, she was saying all this stuff, and she made it a point to not let this bill go through. And I applaud her for that, and I'm sorry I forgot her name. But the one guy, Ajit Pai, or whatever, the potato head, whatever his name is, he worked at Verizon. That's a little fact I think some people don't know. This motherfucker worked at Verizon. And he knows the inside, he knows a little bit about what he was doing when he was making this bill. That I couldn't believe. How someone who originally worked for Verizon is now in charge of the FCC. I mean, god damn. Who's the idiot that let that guy into the chair? that said he gets to make the decisions. And I'm sorry. I'm just a little sick. That's my rant. Next, self-defense. I think that there should be, there should be like a little pre-class that should be taught on it, and people need to learn it in order to be protected. They need to learn how to protect. People need to learn how to protect themselves from, danger in life. If you can if you can bite, or if you can poke someone in the eye, if they're hurting you, or if they grab onto you and won't let go, then that's the time when you need to fight back, or give them a punch. School's view on it, it's just ridiculous. If someone hits you and then you hit them back, you both get in trouble. So I guess that means when you're doing self-defense, you are both at fault. And to me, that's kind of stupid. I think the person who originally started it needs to be the one to get in trouble. And for the one who had to do self-defense and kick their ass, they need to sit down with someone, or maybe they need to sit down with the higher-ups and say, this is why the kid bullied me, and this is what I tried to do. This is, I tried to tell my dean, but nothing was put in place. To me, when I think it should be used is when you're in danger, is when someone is, at you. It's common sense. When you're in a dangerous situation, and you can, here's my main thing. If they put your hand, bite them, poke them in the eye, and take your elbow and wham them right in the chest to knock them out. That's like my kind of main key thing on self-defense. But it's a so-and-so situation. It's a so-and-so situation on how to use it. And now the next one, finals. What a joke. Finals to me are a joke. And this ACT and the SAT and the whatever stupid test that we gotta take, to me it's a joke. It's absolutely, truly, in any other sense of the definition, a joke. Because this is how I think schools should be teaching. It should be, you are given a notes packet, the teacher teaches a class, and then at the end of the semester, or at the end of the unit, like Unit 1, this teacher goes over Unit 1, it should be, you can use what you have on your notes packet, your way of doing things. That's what you should be using on the test. Not whether or not you can figure out the sum of cubes, or the difference of cubes, or quadrinomials, or binomials, or how to rate a thing on a graph. It shouldn't be based on memory. It should be based on how you use it. It should be based on if you actually paid attention. Because if the schools were doing it a little bit that way, they'd see who's taking their notes and who's not taking their notes. And for the kids that need extra help, they, put them in the extension classes. If they need help and if they ask, put them in the extension classes, because it helps. But fuck Alex, because it doesn't do jack shit anyway. It just doesn't. It's a waste of time, because nobody likes it. It's a constant pain in the ass to do, and it doesn't do anything. And my last, and before I get to my last thing of the day, I will be doing a Q&A session. Leave your questions in the comments. If you have any questions you want to ask me for future videos, I will definitely answer them in future videos, or if you want me to review anything else, just leave suggestions on what you want me to review. hey, I'm doing questions and answers and reviews, so leave them in the comments or text me on Snapchat. Go on to the thing. I got a website now. That's a good thing. Not that hard to build, actually. And for my last one, I'm gonna this is my review on Harry D. Jacobs High School. What I will be doing is I will be reading some reviews from www.greatschools.org, and hold on a minute, and where's the other website? I'm just looking at my script because I kind of lost it. Hold on a minute, everybody. Well, I couldn't find the other website, but I will be putting www.greatschools.org in the link below in the description. And I mean, if you just go to any Review My School website and you type in Harry D. Jacobs, you'll probably find the same thing. But let's begin. The first one is from a student. Overall experience, not worth a look of your time. The student strongly disagreed with an effective approach to homework. The way the students are being taught is based on memory and not how to use the problems at all. I feel it's just learn the topic and move on to the next one with no clarification. Teachers at the school effective. The student disagreed. It's a 50-50 split. Some teachers here are genuinely caring and will help, but that's only the 2%. The other 98 just don't seem to care and will move on and leave others behind with no help. The student disagreed with the school develops strong character in students like integrity, compassion, and respect. No, the student said no, the only thing the school develops in students is the I'm the adult and I'm always right method. The student strongly disagreed that leadership at the school is effective. And the main problem at the school, the way it goes around here is the admin are right and never wrong, even when there's a deadly problem that is happening. They just seem to ignore it. There are horrendous problems at the school, and my child and I can't do anything about it, and we are forced to suffer. The school effectively deals with bullying. Strongly disagree. The school is horrid when it comes to handling misbehavior. The process is long and slow, and by the time anything is done to reprimand the student at fault, the damage has been done. And usually most of the time the student at fault gets away when other children are still suffering. And this was submitted by a student December 11th, 2017. This next one is from a parent. Overall experience. I had to pull my child out and pay for a private school. Class sizes are too large and teachers don't care about the kids. Sad! ! And this was submitted by a parent on January 19th, 2016. Student. Overall experience. So I went to this school so I could learn at my own pace, but instead I went to classes with bullies and people who cannot keep their hands to themselves. The school does not place people in classes they need. The teachers are great, and I liked all of my teachers. The problem was the other students. The students that need extra help, like myself, had to go to class with the troublemakers and people who did not want to learn. I just do not like the way some of the programs at the school were ran. And this was submitted by a student March 24th, 2015. Student. Overall experience. The main problem with the school is some of the counselors and the administration itself. During my senior year, my counselor refused to change my schedule 2 weeks before the school year began. Because the year before, the particular AP class I wanted to enroll in was only offered once. The next year it was offered twice so I could have senior release with that. Counselor refused. Then I contacted the head counselor and he assured me that my counselor was wrong. At the end of the school year, my GPA was about 3.4. I wanted to know from my counselor that if I got all A's, then my GPA would boost to 3.5 or higher. For some stupid reason of wanting to feel accomplished in something, I really had put a lot of effort into the honors medal. Counselor said that he would not check and that it's not a big deal. I asked if he could just check, refused, and told me that he would not respond to more messages from me. I graduated and got all A's and a 3.5 GPA, no medal, and he even gave me a mean dirty look at the graduation ceremony. Nice standards on counselors, Jacobs. My mother contacted the administration, and they either did not respond or said that they did not care. And this was submitted by a student February 7th, 2015. Now, this will be a part 2 to this, like, right after. It's like there will be 2 videos out like this. Like, this video is going to be put out, and then the part 2 will be put out. So, you know, because this video is kind of getting kind of long. See you in a second.